Hi, I'm FireDragoner4 and this is my modelling tutorial. This is part 1. We're going to learn some of the basics and we're going to model the basic BSP of an indoor map for Halo Custom Edition. Part 2 will be with texturing and part 3 will be getting in game, sapient, tool and all that kind of stuff, fixing errors if there is any. Okay, so let's go into 3ds Max. Some of the basics which I use is just making a box and then flipping it. So just make a box, convert to editable mesh, select all the faces and flip. That's a good way to just start, but you know, it's a little basic just to have a little box room like that. I also do spline modeling, whatever it is, where I use the top view. You can create like passageways which, when you've done that, you create another line and then go to compound object, loft, unselect banking and tick optimize shapes, click get shape because we're on the path, and then click on that and it makes it there. You can also turn that into a tunnel or a room or whatever just by doing that, and then it has the inside. Okay, so that's just some of the basics that I use when we're modelling. So we're going to start a basic BSP, just a quick indoor map. So I'll start with one of the bases. I'm just going to use it as a box room. I don't really model to scale until a little later on. That's when I import the Master Chief. So okay, I do actually go a little high poly until later on. I model high poly stuff because it's very detailed. It may lag in C if I do too much high poly stuff. Everyone should know that, but yeah. Okay, so what I did is I tessellated the box twice and then wielded the vertices on the corners and moved them in and everything. Now just going to extrude these here. I'm using the front one here just to go up one of our heights. Just like that. Okay. Okay, that's now wielded to the floor. If you want, you can actually delete these two faces on the back of it and remake the faces that, well, what you could do is just delete these two faces here and then wield those two, wield those two, wield those two. Okay, now we're just going to pull this up to about here. I'm going to tessellate again. I know I'm using a lot of polygons right now, but you can just depoly it later. Okay, moving the vertices a little bit now. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to bevel that out to have a little bit of style. Okay, now we select these inside faces and just extrude that in a little bit, and extrude again, and then we're going to select all the faces that were on this back wall. A lot of face clicking, but doesn't matter. And just extrude a little bit that way. what I'm going to do is going to select those two, going to bevel polygons up to about there. Oops. About there. Something like that. I always recommend saving, so I'm just going to call this test. Well, tutorial test map. If you're wondering what all this stuff is, it's just stuff that I've done in the past for other people or other maps that I work on. There's a lot of stuff. So anyway, so now we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to select a nice door part there. That's where we're going to have a door. But we're actually going to use that spleen modelling that I showed you just a minute ago to create somewhat of a nice tunnel. So it's just going to be, I'm just going to make the tunnel like this. Okay. It's a little out in the corners and stuff, so you can just move those to be a little bit more shaped if we want. Okay. Now I'm just going to create a little tiny bit of there. That's all we need really. And then go on loft and get that shape. Okay, just delete those two. Okay, what I'm going to do is, this is what I do when at finished modelling, I always click optimize. I'm just going to leave the setting at 4 for now, just so it's all one poly everywhere, all the way around it. To rotate that so it's there. I did actually model that a little bit bigger compared to the rest of the PSP so far, so just to put that there. What I do is you can select all that and then flip it, and then this face here is just the one that we need to delete for now. Now what we do is we attach this onto that one, and then I'm just going to pull all those vertices there in alignment with that. I was already selecting, so I'm also going to select the floor planes just around there as well for the floor faces. Okay, so we're going to click polygon, and then we're just going to work around it. Just like this. Stupid me. Sorry. It's my fault. Yeah, I do that a lot when I model. I always click the wrong vertex to make the face too. Got to make sure you know where you're looking. Okay, if it does that, it's there, look, so you can just click flip. If you have more than one face selected and you do flip, it'll flip them all, so make sure you just have one face selected, or one polygon. Okay, so we've done that, and we have that tunnel way on the base now. So what we're going to do is going to expand this tunnel to the center area. So you're going to extrude another one. So you just click on the face and then extrude. Then I'm going to line up this part here to be straight, and this one just the part curving. And then when we do that, it should turn nicely from now on. And then just turn that. Just carry on doing this. I know I'm kind of doing this at high poly, but I just want to get it an exact bending. a lot of people use this as well, but when I'm just extruding small parts like this, I normally just extrude the polygons the normal way, not by that. Okay, so we've done that, and then just gonna extrude once more, so it's straight. Okay, just gonna save again, just in case Max crashes. So we have that, it looks like that. The center I'm going to have an upper area and a lower area. So you got to travel a little bit, so I'm just going to create, a cylinder. A cylinder there. Just going to have about, I'll say 4. Should be able to organize it okay with that. What we'll do is we'll move this one up to the top of there. Move those just up there for a second. Okay. Okay, select all the faces here. Do that, and then just attach that to there. Now what we'll do is just select this face here. We delete that. Then inside here, we delete this bottom face here. It's a little out, so okay, just carrying going around there. Just move that so it's a little bit more centered. Okay. Now I'm not going to delete the floor planes on the floor faces on this one, but what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go around here. Okay, that went a little wrong. Don't ask me why, but you know, it happens sometimes. Okay, let's try that again. Flip that. So we have something that looks like that, and then on this one here, oops, yeah, Max is crashing. It does this a lot. If you say that, say there, okay, and it'll save. What we'll do is we'll just reload Max. See, it does that a lot to me. You see, I wasn't even doing anything to annoy Max, I was just pushing some faces, but some vertices. Anyway, let's go open, go to auto back, and it's under T for tutorial test map cover. Okay, so we're back here. We'll save this back in scenes as tutorial test map again. Place it, yes. Okay, so we can push these faces finally now. So they're exactly lined up. These vertices here, sorry. Yeah. Then we can just get that lined up. That's pretty okay for now anyway. Now we've done that, what we're going to do is, I'm not sure about that second layer yet, but